Let's just go ahead and address the biggest, most frustrating question right off the bat. Is the federal restoration process dead? It's completely natural to feel a deep sense of impatience or even downright defeat when you're just getting absolute silence from the government. But here is the objective truth based on current real-time regulatory tracking. The process is not dead, the door hasn't been closed, and this initiative, it definitely hasn't been forgotten. In fact, as we're about to see, there is definitive, trackable movement happening right now.
Section 1. Do not lose hope and the movement behind the scenes. Let's dive in and look at what is happening right now.
A really crucial point to remember here is that we are dealing with facts today, not rumors. The internet is absolutely full of guesses, but the updates we're discussing right now, they aren't based on random forum talk or social media speculation. You have to remember that public silence from the government does not equal internal stagnation. The rulemaking process is actively advancing through the proper, highly structured federal channels. This is real, formal, procedural progress.
Moving on to our next section. Inside the Federal Review, decoding the bureaucracy. Let's translate some of this government alphabet soup.
So, according to the official regulatory trackers, the Federal Gun Rights Restoration Rule is currently sitting with OIRA. That's OIRA, which stands for the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter? Well, because this isn't just some random placeholder desk where paperwork goes to die. When a rule is sitting with OIRA, it means it's currently inside a very real, very serious federal review process. It's essentially a critical gateway that all significant regulatory actions absolutely must pass through.
And here's the thing, OIRA doesn't operate in a vacuum. It's actually a part of the OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, which is directly part of the Executive Office of the President. This brilliantly illustrates just how high up this review is actually happening. The OMB's entire job is to review federal regulations and make absolutely sure that any agency actions line up with broader federal policy and priorities. So this rule isn't lost in a basement somewhere, it is actively being evaluated at the highest levels of executive review.
Which brings us to a major distinction. On one hand, you have the proposed rule stage, and on the other, you have a final rule under OIRA review. Right now, the restoration rule is officially listed as a final rule under review. Guys, this is incredibly positive forward movement. It means the legislation has successfully moved way past that initial proposed starting line. It's no longer sitting at the beginning of the journey. It is officially in one of the final federal review stages required before publication. It's a real game changer.
Up next, the DOJ online application, looking toward the horizon. Let's shift our focus to exactly what happens next.
The path to publication maps out a very clear established sequence of events. We've already moved from Step 1, the proposed rule, right into Step 2, the OIRA final review. So the next logical step in the sequence is official publication by the Department of Justice. And that right there is what triggers the highly anticipated release of the digital application portal. Now, while we obviously cannot promise you an exact calendar date for this final step, the sequence of the release is firmly established, and it's moving forward in a logical order.
To really reinforce that timeline, we have direct guidance from the Department of Justice itself. They've stated clearly that the online application is directly connected to the final rule, meaning the portal will be released after the final rule is published. So the absolute crucial point to take away from this is, the process is in a serious late-game stage. The sequence of events is locked in, and the digital application portal is just waiting for us on the other side of this current review.
Which leads us to time to get prepared. We really need to move from passive waiting to active readiness.
Please do not let this waiting period make you give up or tune out. Whether you're reviewing this sitting in your home office, laying paperwork out on your kitchen table, or doing your research down at the local community center, this is the season to get prepared. You need to gather all necessary documentation right now. Take the time to truly understand the process, get your paperwork completely organized, and stay informed. Because when that DOJ digital application portal finally goes live, the people who are already prepared are going to be in a significantly better position than the folks who are suddenly scrambling to find their records.
Listen, waiting for the door to fling open before you even start getting ready, that is a fundamental mistake. Just because we're waiting doesn't mean the process is over, and it certainly shouldn't mean you're just sitting around doing nothing. We need to reframe this current waiting period as a vital opportunity. Use this time wisely so that the second the federal government completes its review, you are holding all the right cards and are totally ready to go. So what is the single most practical thing you can do today? For clear step-by-step education, go to LegalGangsta.com. By taking this simple step right now, you ensure that you stay connected and informed on all the details.
When important updates happen, and most importantly, when that digital application actually goes live, taking action today means you absolutely will not be left in the dark.
And that brings us to our final thought for this explainer. The final rule is under review. The process is definitively moving. So the only question remaining for you is, when the digital application portal goes live, will you be ready or will you be left behind? Don't get discouraged, don't stop paying attention, and definitely use this season to get your records in order.